Hey, what's up, guys? So, in this video, I'm going to answer and address an issue that one of my female viewers asked me to touch on, and that is, men who make or try to force women to do their time with them. Meaning the guy's got to go do a bid, and they're kind of pressuring the woman to stay with them during and do the time with them. And my thoughts on that I've touched on in another video. I think for the most part, it is a very selfish thing. And the reason I say that is because just in my own observation, the majority of the time when a girl does the bid with the guy, she ends up, getting screwed over in one way or another. So she ends up having to suffer so much day for day as he does in prison. She's suffering just as well in different ways. She's normally isolated all by herself under extreme financial and emotional burden. She is lonely, and she's losing oftentimes the most valuable years of her life, her youth, where she should be out there having fun, making good memories, and actually finding the person that she's going to spend the rest of her life with and have a family with. So a lot of times, the guys end up coming home and they're just all fucked up. They're not really about changing the things that took them to prison in the first place. So they come out, and it took all this time for the girl to get used to being alone and doing this time with him, but she's often better off alone and suffering with him in prison than when he actually comes out. It's all great, when he first gets released, yeah, it's wonderful, things are great. But then after a couple days, a couple weeks, even a couple months, things change, and you start seeing that, man, I just wasted all these years waiting for this man, creating a reality in my head that I thought was going to become true, where we were going to live happily ever after, and he was going to appreciate so much what I did and sacrificed for him. That's not the case, guys. Most of the men who are in prison are not good men. Most of them. The reason why they're there is because they cannot fucking learn. It doesn't register in their heads. They don't learn lessons the way typical people do and move on from those mistakes that they make. They keep on making the same fucking mistake over and over and over. And if it's not that, they are just extremely selfish people. What I mean by selfish is that they will, not just when they're in a relationship and they get arrested, a lot of guys, while they're in jail, look for girls to become their girlfriend while they're in jail. They post ads on websites for prisoners who are looking for love and stuff like that, and they target girls who are lonely and don't really have anyone, and they just hype them up and manipulate them into thinking that this person really loves me. I finally found a person who really loves me. Even though he's a prisoner, I can look beyond that because I finally found what I've been missing in life. And what's actually happening is they're just using them. They're just fucking manipulators, and they're using these girls, and they convince these girls to come and spend their free time visiting them. They convince them to write them letters, and the worst part, they convince them to give them all their money. All right? These girls are hardworking, barely making money, and somehow in their brains, it makes sense to give up a good portion of that money to put on this guy's canteen. And that's the problem. Selfishness is a huge problem. So not only to the viewer who asked this question, but to others out there who may be in a similar situation, only you know the answer. Only you deep in your heart know, is that man really worth waiting for? Is he really going to change from this? Or is he just fucking using me as a convenience? And when he gets out, it's all going to be the same bullshit all over again and again and again. So ask yourself if he's just telling you the things that he knows you want to hear, or it's actually genuine. And for the men, if you end up in that situation where you have a woman and you got to do some time, be a fucking real man and step up and put her priorities and her well-being before your own. Don't fuck her over and waste her time. It makes me sick how many times I've seen that, where there are good girls, and for whatever reason they're attracted to or they fall in love with these pieces of shit. And these guys just fucking waste these girls' years and lives and destroy them. And then those girls end up being damaged goods and hating all men after And now they're not able to get anyone to really love them because in the years that they should have been finding those relationships, they were fucking sitting at home crying alone over a fucking convict. So please share your thoughts, guys, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.